Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cosmic Cunties. This is Tiffany. I am head cunty of this astrological weekly energy forecast. I'm sorry. My dog was doing something weird and I wasn't sure what. Today has been a very, very long day for me. I did not think I was going to be able to get to this today, but I'm so grateful that I'm here and that I'm recording. And I hope that it helps at least one of you. And it's me showing up for myself. So if that's all that is this week, then that's all that is this week. So we're talking about the week of October 13th through the 19th. Today is actually October 13th. Shout out to my father. It is his birthday and he is about 6 months sober and I'm so proud of him. So today is a big day for me, familia. For this week, my intention is for y'all. Essentially, what I'm seeing a lot of is that we have Venus in Libra. Venus is moving into Libra this week. And we also have this opposing, we have a lot of opposition going on because Venus is moving into Libra. It is aspecting and opposing a lot of the planets that have been sitting in Aries. So it's a lot about self versus relation. And Ozzy, dude, there's no more water to be had. Go on. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. So as I was saying, basically this week, my intention for you is for you to be looking at yourself versus relationships and partnerships. And where are we needing essentially more self-love versus love from relationships? We can only meet ourselves within relationship as far as we're willing to meet ourselves within our own relation to ourselves. And so how are you showing up and loving on yourself? And are you at a point within your own life, within your own self-love, that you've reached the person that you want to be when you go into relation? And so I think that's kind of what Venus moving into Libra is all about. And so I'll leave it at that as far as my intention goes for the week. We've got a lot to cover and it's already so late in the evening. I'm already feeling a little bit chaotic, so I apologize if I'm feeling ungrounded, but it is what it is. All right, puppies. Zazu. Ready? Ozzy. Set. Zozo. Camera. Lights. Oh yeah, sorry about the lighting, guys. I'm recording at night and I've got like every light on my Airstream on and this is what it is. So what to do, baby boo? Okay, Monday, today, we've got the moon and Cancer trining Mars and Scorpio. This is very emotional. We've got Scorpio and Cancer. They're the most emotional plant or signs. And so be easy, drink lots of water. It's going to be a lot, maybe perhaps a lot of waterworks today. There's maybe going to be some intense conversations or things that may happen to make you emotional because Mars is that outward energy of taking action. So maybe someone brings up something in it and it makes you feel intensely. And so just, I guess that, I'm recording this late at night on the 13th. So this is a good practice in reflecting back on the day of like, how did these transits play out in your life, if at all? We also have the sun in Libra squaring the moon in Cancer. And so we might be yearning for relationships, or dreaming of a relationship or partnership that we don't have. We might be feeling a little bit emotional if we don't have that relationship that we're like yearning for or seeking, even if we are in relation. And then we also have the question as to whether if we're in a relationship, any relationship, really, it can be love, but it can be any relationship. Do we have balance and harmony within that? If we want more balance and harmony, are we able to express our emotions clearly that that's what we're wanting or seeking or needing? And perhaps we might be feeling like we're wanting more love than we're receiving in our relations. And so being able to communicate that. We also have Venus moving into Libra. That's what I was talking about as far as our intentions go. This is very romantic. This is very same, but different energy. Venus does rule Libra, but it's not exalted. So it's the romance. How are you romanticizing your own life so that when that Libra energy comes in, that partnership or relationship energy comes in, are you so in love with your own life, knowing exactly what you need, taking care of your own self, so that when that partnership does happen, even if you already are in partnership, you're able to show that other person, this is what I like, and this is how I tend to feel loved, and this is how I take care of myself. And that way they can step in if they want to. They should. Yeah, and so it's this balance of self-love versus partnership love, and seeing where we're at. I mean, we all think about Libra as the scales and as the balance, but it's not just balance within partnership or relationship. It's also balance between self and relations. So I think a lot of people miss that mark sometimes because Libra tends to be so focused on relationships and such a people pleaser. That's their downfall or shadow, that they're over concerned about others and they forget themselves, and they've filled up other people's cups thinking that would fill their own, and that's not how that works. And so just paying attention to that while Venus is in Libra for the next few weeks. We also have the moon in Cancer conjuncting Jupiter in Cancer. This is a very heightened emotional day. Cancer on Cancer, emotions with Jupiter being the expander. So whatever we're feeling is going to be intensified, expanded upon. Hopefully it was positive emotions that you've felt today that were increased or heightened. And then we have Venus in Libra opposing Neptune in Aries. This is the repeated intention and theme for the week. This is self-love in opposition to love of others. This is where are we feeling the balancing act of how do we want to show up in relationships? What do we want to call in versus what are we looking for, and how are we already showing up as the person we want to be in relation with ourselves? We're dating ourselves if we're not in relationship. And even if we are in relationship, we are still always deciding to choose ourselves first so that we can fill up others' cups if we decide to do that. And so are you showing up as the version of yourself in the relationship that you're in? We get lost in the sauce so easily with all the things that happen in life. And so it's really good, especially in relationship, to see where maybe you're losing yourself. Maybe you need to realign and reattune to what it is you're looking for in a relationship, and what it is that you always sought in a relationship, and how you always envisioned yourself being in relation. Are you there? Are you still doing that despite being deeper in a relationship? Yeah. And are you being honest with yourself, And we can be like always seeking relationship, always wanting to be in relationship. And then all of a sudden we're in relation and we're deep in it. And then we don't take the time to pull away and ask ourselves, are we being honest? Are we fulfilling ourselves and the relationship that we wanted? And if not, are you having those conversations? The next transit for Monday, still on the same day, Moon in Cancer trine Saturn in Pisces. So we might be feeling a little strict on ourselves for how we're feeling internally. We also are very intuitive today. Trust what you're feeling and what is calling you. Trust your emotions today. Just try not to be too hard on yourself for the way that you might be feeling. Cancer and Pisces are very deeply emotional. They're water signs. They're in their feels. And then we've got the big grand master daddy, the thing that all astrologers are talking about is Pluto has gone direct in Aquarius. We've experienced this earlier this year. It was the first time that Pluto went direct in Aquarius in our lifetime earlier this year, but then it went retrograde in Aquarius and it went back into Capricorn as well. So while it was retrograding in Aquarius the last 5 months, we have really been feeling that intense, powerful shadow work internally. And so where have we been needing to clear things within ourselves so that we can make space and room for the types of people and groups and causes that we want to be a part of. Aquarius is all about groups of people, friends, humanitarian causes. And so if we're wanting to call in specific groups of people that are more aligned with us, we have been shedding whatever it is that's preventing us from aligning with those types of people. We've been doing a heavy internal work for the last 5 months. It's not just because Pluto was in retrograde, but it is a significant transit that we've all been experiencing and significant shedding internally and really confronting our shadows. I always like to say Pluto is like, it is the god of the underworld, but it's like the person that's willing to go into that dark, scary basement and shine a light on that corner and we don't know what's in there. That's what's been going on internally. The light's been shown on so many things internally, and we've been alchemizing that and releasing all of that. And so now it's going direct so that we can call in those causes and those groups of people and constructs that we now want to align most with. And now it's time to go and outwardly do the things that are reflecting the new versions of ourselves. So showing the world like, hey, this is the new me, but it's also a slow burn. Pluto is such a planet that's so far away from us that it moves so slowly for us. The energy is slow moving for us because it is so much further away. And so with that being said, this is a very slow transition. It's not like this, bam, like the moon energy that a lot of us kind of unite with every few days. We're like, okay, like, ooh, but this is going to be the next few weeks. We're going to be feeling it. And then it's going to be direct in Aquarius for the next few decades. So not only is that what's going on for ourselves internally, and then of course how we're going to show up externally for the next 20, 30 plus years, but it's also the external reflection of what within our society, what within humanity and our structures and our systems are not working for us. We've done a lot of internal reflection, and a lot of us are coming through and we're like, hey, this isn't it. This isn't working for us. And that includes big, major systems, our political system, our banking system, the religious systems that are set up. We're all questioning them, and we're all seeing these don't work for everyone involved. And quite frankly, a lot of them were put in place, if not all of them, were put in place to work exactly as they are working. And that is not in the best interest of everybody. And so they need to come crumbling down. And that's another thing that we're going to be experiencing over the next few decades. But also that's internally what's going on. And we've made a lot of room for those things to transition. Tuesday, the next thing that's going to be happening is that the moon is moving into Leo. The moon, our internal world, moving into Leo is very fiery. It's very zesty. It's very much so the energy to let ourselves shine. It's asking us to give ourselves props for things that we've done well lately. So love yourself up and let your heart shine. The moon in Leo is going to trine Neptune in Aries. This is very fiery energy, fire on fire. This is both internal and external. This might be a little bit delulu or dreamy with our ambitions for the day because it's Neptune. But be aware of other people being fiery towards you or demanding more from you. Like maybe they have these ideas or visions of what you can deliver. And if you're not careful, especially with all this Libra energy of people pleasing, when it's out of balance, you could be saying yes when you're not able to commit. So be very careful of that. The moon in Leo is also opposing the Pluto in Aquarius. So this is battle of self versus friends and groups. So thinking to yourself, how do you feel when you're in the groups of people that you surround yourself in? We've been doing this work, this shadow work of internally releasing so that we can align with the types of people that we're seeking with the new versions of ourselves, of all the releasing and reflecting that we've done this year. So the groups of people that you put yourself in now, how do you feel when you're in those groups? When you remove yourself from those groups, you go home at the end of the day, how are you feeling? And if it's not great, then really reassessing why and what it is. Is there more clearing internally that you need to do? Or is there maybe clearing externally of friend groups or certain people within the groups that you need to maybe release a little bit of connection with or completely with, to be completely frank, that no longer align with the version of yourself that you are now after doing all this releasing. Pluto is shady. Pluto is going to say it like it is. Like, there's no sugarcoating it. There's no making it rainbows and lollipops. It is really just asking us to be real and honest with ourselves and doing what we need to do, or else it's going to be really uncomfortable. So Wednesday, we have the moon in Leo squaring Mercury in Scorpio. It's also squaring Mars in Scorpio. So we've got this really spicy energy, really fiery energy. I know Scorpio is water, but it's like the fire of the water signs. And so we've got the internal world feeling really proud, feeling really lit up. And then there's this intensity around us and how people speak to us, how people are behaving around us. A lot of commotion that's swirling around us that's intense and combating our own internal system of pride. Confrontation is very much so possible on Wednesday. So just be aware. And maybe you're the one that's confronting people because you're feeling that Leo pride within you. And if you are, go get him, sister. Just be nice about it. Lead with your heart. Lead with your Leo heart. Leo governs the heart. Thursday, we've got the moon moving into Virgo. This is grounded Earth Mama energy with the possibility of intensity and critical eye on our inner world or our inner child. So be careful not to be too harsh on yourself. Try the grounded Virgo approach instead, being in your body, being in all your senses, grounding your emotions. The moon in Virgo is also going to be squaring Uranus and Gemini. So this is very much so a disciplined internal world, maybe too disciplined and feeling intensity when things are not going our way. Uranus and Gemini is here to shake things up. So we want things to be lined up, to feel internally soothed, but whether that's literally or figuratively, Virgo is going to be a little OCD, a little clean, but it's just not happening on Thursday. So just be easy on yourself. Try to be more grounded Virgo versus like anal Virgo. Also on Thursday, we've got the sun in Libra squaring Jupiter in Cancer. So this is the energy we need to evaluate as to how we're showing up in relationships and partnerships. Are we mothering? Are we relying on our intuition? Do we people please too much? Do we rely on how others feel as a barometer to how we feel? Libras and Cancers can both be overreaching. And people pleasers, and then bitter when they feel depleted. So this square is really bringing that out. On Friday, we've got the sun in Libra opposing Chiron in Aries. So Chiron's the wounded healer. Aries is all about self. Sun is our light being, our essence, and Libra's in partnership. So the wounds of self are opening up on Friday when it comes to how we appear and how we show up in relationships and how we're perceived in relationships. So maybe the questions we can ask ourselves is, where can we relax and learn to receive more? Where can we choose to consider and think about others more? Where do we only think of ourselves, not creating space for others? We all want to be loved by others. So are we loving ourselves the way we want to be loved? It's the same theme of, are you romanticizing your life and doing the things that you want to do, caring for yourself the way that you want to be cared for? So when relation does come, you're ready for it because you've already learned and what you like and what you don't like, and you're already doing those things. And then that way when relation comes, you can teach them just by doing and being. And how relation goes is not going to shake you up because you're already, you know that you are your number one love and that you're not going to be shaken because you've got you and you are filling your own cup up by the way that you like to be loved. And also with Chiron and Aries, it's very much so like me energy. And so that's why I'm asking you to look more to where you can consider others and think about others more. It's this opposition, it's this balance, Libra balance, the scales of self versus others. And so if you find yourself being more closed off to others and yet you're wanting to call in a relationship, you need to evaluate that. We all want to be loved in a relationship. We all want to be loved by others. But we might be a little protective of ourselves. And so what's coming up for you when it comes to self that might be preventing you from showing up authentically in relation? Then we've got Saturday, where the moon in Libra is opposing Saturn in Aries. This is giving kind of the same energy as Friday that I just went over. It's void of course, so that means that the moon is not quite in either sign at that point, but it is closer to Libra. So we're trying to be more disciplined within our personal lives, and this is maybe at odds within our relationships we're in or want to be in. This is a good time. Pausing for my dog to get a bone that just so happens to be underneath this camera. Okay. This is a good time to evaluate how you show up in relationships and how you create or maybe don't create space for relationships in your life, like I had just mentioned. Emotionally, we want to connect with others. We want relationships, but perhaps we're too strict on ourselves to commit. So just take a look at that. This week is really good at evaluating how we show up in relation to ourselves and knowing and realizing that that's how we're going to show up in relation. The moon officially moves into Libra, so that's very much so sweet, romantic. Our emotions feel like a bathtub full of roses is what I'm saying. We're embraced in the warm waters and in the beauty. Libra very much so loves harmony and balance and beauty. And so we're feeling that warm ooey gooiness starting on Saturday, which is a very nice energy to be in after all the things that we've been going through. At the same time, Moon in Libra, or around the same time, Moon in Libra is opposing Neptune in Aries. This is opposing forces still. We're still wanting to relate to others, feeling romantic about being in relation with others, but yet maybe being a little delusional about how we show up in relationships or about how we are just in general. Or perhaps maybe we don't understand or we can't see how our lifestyle might not offer the space for relationships. So getting really real with ourselves about the relation we have with ourselves and where we could create more space for others if that's what we're seeking. And in this energy, we will be feeling like we're seeking that, whether that disappears after Venus and Libra leaves or not. If you are in a relationship, where can you be more cognizant of how you show up in your relationship? Are you, again, it's the same energy. Are you showing up how you want to show up in relation? If not, why not? And work with that. That's your shadow. That's what you need to be working on. Ask yourself what's preventing you from being the person you want to be. We also have the moon in Libra trining Pluto in Aquarius. This is an air trine. This is a good time to support you if you want to work on your internal world and your emotions and why things might make you feel a certain way. How do you think about outside circumstances, humanitarian causes or groups? How do you exist in groups and how does it affect you internally? This, again, energy is coming back up. Pluto's working full time, so going full force direct in Aquarius. So integrating our internal reflections of the past 5 months and reflecting and directing Pluto energy outward at this point in time. Moon in Libra trines Uranus and Gemini. This is, again, another air trine. Airs are in the mind. So really thinking, we're in our minds. We're doing the critical work here. This is a chaotic internal world, though. This is how we think and feel are going to be at odds with one another. Try to feel into our body and our heart. Our heart is our true guiding light versus the mental chaos of Uranus and Gemini. So although this energy does support us in becoming aware of how the outside chaos affects our inner world, can you be the steady eye within the tornado? So you might be like, wow, this chaos is going on all around me, but I'm going to stay steady, rock steady. I'm going to stay balanced. I'm going to be the harmonizer. See if I think that's what the energy is asking you to do on Saturday, especially later in the day. Finishing up our week, Sunday, the moon in Libra is conjunct Venus in Libra. This is very lovely. This is so soft. This is so romantic, so squishy, so sweet, so romantic, relationship vibey, very supportive in love, very, very like feeling lovey-dovey. So soak that up. Be in that Libra energy. This is ultimate Libra energy, very romantic. Go to an art exhibit, look at the beauty all around you, romanticize your life that day, basically, and try to do it all through Libra season, especially with Venus in Libra and the sun in Libra. But this day, especially Sunday, is very good for that. And then lastly, Mercury in Scorpio is going to conjunct Mars in Scorpio. This is some spicy communication. This is getting shit done, taking action, blazing trails, powerful, and a raw day to express emotions and make things happen. Or end them. Scorpio is all about death, rebirth, transformation, endings. So it's kind of a weird day because it's like all lovey-dovey in the morning, and then maybe there's some spicy communication that comes up and you just end things, or maybe you change ways that you show up. Maybe you end a habit that you have because you were able to have that lovey-dovey morning and then that spicy communication that brought that up for you. I don't know, Sunday's kind of a very interesting day. I very much so would love to know how you guys experience that within your world. So some major transits happening this week. Pluto going direct in Aquarius and Venus heading into Libra. So I'm very curious how these are going to be affecting you guys. And if you can, keep a diary of how these things are working out for you, and come back and comment anytime that you want, like, oh shit, I remember this happened, or this is the day that this and this happened and I remember this. So come back and comment that, I don't care if it's a year from now and be like, oh shit, on this day, this happened. I want to know. I am such a researcher through and through. I will Google anything and everything. But this is my ultimate research project, is seeing what's happening transit wise and how it affects people, especially because we're all made up of different energy based on our natal charts and when we were born and our experiences. So I would love to know how this is affecting you. And if you have any comments, concerns, suggestions, I am all ears, all open. Put them in the comments. If you could like and subscribe, I appreciate your support so much. You have no idea how much it feels just very, what's the word? I don't want to say good. I want to say very comforting, and it's a good energy to keep me going, to show up, because I don't know who's listening on the other end. I don't know how it's being perceived. And so if it's being perceived in one way or the other, it's good for me to kind of like alchemize and move the way that I need to move to make this better for everybody involved. So any suggestions are welcome. And thank you guys so much for being here. Remember to love yourself first and then fill up everybody else's cup. That is the theme of the week, the theme of Libra season. Besos.